Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I am 99% convinced that the Chinese will smack and will snap eventually at the pressure and will hit the whomever is around them in the East China Sea area, if you know what I mean. It's only one intruder over there, and it's not China, it's not Japan, it's not South Korea, or people from Taiwan. It's someone else from far, far away, across Pacific Ocean, and that is Zimbabwe. So, under pressure, these guys will hit back as Japan did in the Second World War. I know that is something that might be controversial to some, but I suggest that those some pick up a few books and read about some protections that the United States implemented in East Asia against the Japanese interest. They're actually boycotting and not allowing the Japanese interest to do business in the area. That is like, I don't allow you to go do your grocery shopping in the area. But you need to go, I don't know, in France to do your grocery shopping. What will you do? You either decide to starve and your family starve, or you're going to try to punch me in the face when I'm not looking. Well, 7th of December 1941 could be one of that thing. When I'm not looking, you want to punch me in the face. Let's go back here. It seems like China is at the brink of snapping, and since Russia did not collapse yet, and there's no signs it will collapse, might be snapping right now, so at least we have two fronts. We'll see. We'll see. The words are getting close to curses, bad language. It's getting right there. Pointing the finger, calling names. And what's next after that? Grabbing the guy by the collar and being physical. Reuters, China lashes back at NATO criticism, warns it will protect its rights. Okay, so it will protect its rights. What do you think protecting China's rights mean? How do you think China will protect its rights? I think this is meant physically, not with words and criticism. That's how I think they word. That's how they will protect their rights. Beijing lashed back at NATO accusation that China challenges the group's interest and security and opposed any attempt by the military alliance to expand its footprints into the Asia-Pacific region. So again, the NATO countries, they claim that China challenges the group's interests and security. Where? In East China Sea? Where is NATO located? In East China Sea? As far as I know, no. In a strongly worded communiqué issued midway into a two-day summit in the Lithuanian capital of Vilnius on Tuesday, NATO said the People's Republic of China, PRC, challenged its interests, security and values with its ambitious and coercive policies. Well, I don't think that your values, NATO, are my values. And I don't consider you the arbiter of my values or the Western civilization's values. You appointed yourself as being the defender of the security and the interest and the values of blah, blah, blah. You're not. Nobody asked us, the people. The PRC employs a broad range of political, economic, and military tools to increase its global footprint and project power while remaining opaque about its strategy, intentions, and military build-up. End quote. NATO heads of state said in their communiqué. So they claim that it's not the United States with its 740 military locations on this planet that actually does that. No, it's China actually that's trying to copy very, very mildly what the United States did for the past, 70 years? And the PRC's malicious hybrid and cyber operations and its confrontational rhetoric and disinformation target allies and harm alliance security. And the alliance doesn't do the same thing to China. Is China coming at your doorstep, or you are coming at China's doorstep? I'm not defending China, but I can't notice this lie. Just look around and see who's where. Look who's where. And you're going to find out, no, these guys are surrounding China, if you can believe that, in their own corner. And here is what this is Orwellian right here. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg told reporters at the summit that while China was not a NATO adversary, it was increasingly challenging the rules-based international order. That is what? You do what we tell you, that's the order, and those are the rules. With its coercive behavior. This is Orwellian, my friends. This is Orwellian. I'm not saying China is by any means a saint, but I think it's more of a saint than these guys are, by far. I have to say that. My assessment as a human being, and not an idiot one. Now, and I'm not saying that just to brag. I think when I look around me and I speak with people, I realize that, hey, I'm not that dumb. Just kidding. Anyway, let's quote again. China is increasingly challenging the rule-based international order. What are those rules? Remember, Lavrov kept asking? He said, I asked my Western colleagues to provide me with a list of those rules. I want to know which are the rules so we can follow them. But obviously they're not. The rules are, we do what we want to do, and you got to do it because that's the order. We first, you fifth. Refusing to condemn, so challenging the rule-based international order, refusing to condemn Russia's war against Ukraine. Is it possible that maybe China and many other countries see this war, Russia's war in Ukraine, differently than you guys see it? Is it possible? Is it possible that maybe you are wrong and many other countries are right? Is it possible? And the answer is no. Well, the other ones might have a different assessment on things. It's not only China. There's many other countries that didn't condemn this for their own conviction. Based on their view, their evidence, they don't agree with you. And you want them, by your rule-based order, international order, you want them to do what you tell them to do. Condemn. And they say, no, we don't subscribe to your representation of the facts. Plain and nice, direct. That's the rule-based society, world, whatever, international shit. Now, so refusing to condemn Russia's war against Ukraine, threatening Taiwan. Who has weapons over there? Who supports Taiwan? Someone from across Pacific. Taiwanese people, as far as I know, are Chinese, aren't they? They say one China policy, the Americans. If it's one China policy, how can you threaten your own territory? Anyway, and carrying out a substantial military buildup. You are talking about it? Did you look at the American defense budget? Is going to be $860 billion next year. $860 billion. Do you know China's? I think it's about $260 billion. That's not even half. Alright? That's a third. If you put it that way. Not even a third. Less than a third, like a poop. And they're crying about build-up. What are you talking about? This is like up is down, down is up, ministry of truth, war is peace, and it's double speak. It's unbelievable, my friends. And the problem is, these guys are not idiots. I don't think Stoltenberg is an idiot. I think he's just a very dishonest, slippery, sleazy person. He would say anything that he needs to say. Anything that he needs to say. And he knows what to say. It's like the anchors on a TV. They're not smart. They're good actors. They're good actors and people must like them. And they have to be very convincing. That's what it is. They have to read whatever someone else wrote over there. And he has to be very convincing, like an actor, like like you're a poet, or a person who recites a poem. You have to be very expressive, convincing. That's their job. Why do you think that they make millions of dollars? Not because they're big heads and understand shit. No, their job is to convince you and I with whatever someone else wrote over there. Do you think that they write down like I do right now? Do you think that they come with whatever they come over there with how I come over here? Yeah, sometimes they have, open discussions and so on, but they know exactly what they're supposed to do, and they have their own weasel ways of ridiculing any opposite opinion or assessment. They ridicule you, and everybody else on the panel are like, ho, ho, ho. Even if that guy is right, you as an observer or whatever, the person the viewer, you are looking at, hey, that's one person versus five. Those guys must be right. No, democracy does not dictate who is right and who is wrong. No. Remember Galileo Galilei. He was one of the only people that said, wait a minute, it's not the sun and all the galaxies going around the earth. No, it's the earth revolving around the sun. And that's how the solar system was. The Ptolemaic vision was the other way around, and they was basing it on the and the good book says, and they would try to burn this guy Galileo Galilei as Giordano Bruno and others on the stake because he was right and they did not know shit. They had dogma in their heads. And again, if it was by democracy, he would have been burned yesterday. So no, every time people say, well, everybody knows. Well, everybody might be stupid. And I think experience tells us that more are stupid than more are smart. So smart, stupid in the population. You don't believe me? Just walk around the neighborhood. Go at work, go and talk to people. And you're going to find out. And ask them things. And after you ask something, they're going to immediately parrot a little expression of idea that they heard on CNN, and then you know what you should do the next thing? Ask a follow-up question on that issue. They do not know the answer. They just parrot back what they heard. Well, it was not an active mental process of reaching a conclusion for them. No, it was memorizing what Gigi on the TV, the smooth guy, told them, the actor, many times, and by repetition. It must be true. It has been told by authority figure from CNN. Who are you, Emil? Jesus Christ, why should I listen to you? Are you CNN? No, I am Emil. And that tells more than CNN. I'm just CNN. Anyway, so I'm glad CNN exists. Why? Because you can compare. But the problem is CNN has not the power to shut other people up. And I disagree with that one. This is it, my friends. Yes, China is going to snap. And I think it's going to snap that we've never seen something like this before. Those atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki will be Pepsi. Nothing compared with how the Chinese will react, I think. They will not be like the Russians. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to be like the Japanese tried in the Second World War and Pearl Harbor, and they thought that they knocked out United States, which they didn't. They did in that little thing over there, but United States was too big to fall, like the banks. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.